Hey guys, today we're talking about transgenders, specifically Lia Thomas. I think she's been getting a hard road because, listen, she went through all the things that she needed to go through, and the NCAA said that's great, and here we are. But they kind of screwed her, and they're screwing every young lady that swims with her because it's not fair. What do you think, Troy?
I'm really in the middle of the road on this one, Hammer, because it's a very sensitive issue, number one. But I agree, it's not fair. What is fair? I don't have an answer at this point. Maybe we can kind of talk through this and see what everybody else thinks. But I relate it back to when my kids were, in school, in sports, and how would I think as a parent sitting in the stands when my daughters are playing volleyball, and there's a 7-footer on the other side that is really a guy. Has maybe gone through some treatments and whatnot, and God forbid, do whatever you want. I'm totally cool with that, but I just don't think it's fair in a sporting event like that.
I listen. I feel for Lia, and at Penn, he was a great athlete, but overall, he was kind of a boat anchor. He was like 463rd in the world, but that has nothing to do with anything. It really has nothing to do with anything because. He didn't do this to become a superstar as a woman athlete. He did this because she did this because that's who she wants to be.
Still competitive, wants to compete, right? But
exactly.
Does not any longer identify as a woman.
But the problem is,
man, excuse me.
Where does the selfishness kick in?
Yeah. I don't think it's selfish. I mean, I very much sympathize with Lia because once you feel that that's who you are, you want to continue with the narrative of the things that you aspired to do. And Lia, as a male, aspired to be a swimmer. Didn't do as well, was in 439th place or whatever as far as that goes, but now in first place against women. Unfortunately, I know that you have to go through 2 years of hormone treatments, but that doesn't negate the fact that you have a lot more testosterone and you're physically stronger than females on another level. And it absolutely, for the girls that have been working their entire lives towards this goal, and you put somebody that is physically stronger in the arena, it makes it completely unfair to those folks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting that Lia shouldn't be included. I'm suggesting maybe that there should be another category for non-binary or something along those lines. Make it fair to everybody.
I agree. And, she did that testosterone therapy for 2 years to qualify for the NCAA.
Hormone therapy.
No, it's testosterone therapy. Yeah. Anyway.
A rose by any other name.
Yeah,
in this
whatever.
context.
And to cut the testosterone down, okay? And she did that, or he did that, she did that for 2 years and, met every obligation that the NCAA wanted. This has nothing to do with Lia and nothing to do with the girls, the other swimmers. It has to do with the absolute bullshit of the NCAA's rules and how these woke people are thinking.
Well, what are you saying that you think that what do you think that the NCAA's ulterior motive was in this scenario?
They're just trying.
Trying to be supportive of something that maybe or
they made a really bad decision. They made a really bad decision.
As far as you're concerned, but what?
I think as far as
who do you think
Lia's
is being hurt
concerned,
the most?
Everybody's booing Lia. It's not fair to her.
It's not fair to her.
No. It's not fair to her. They just took her title away. It's not fair to her.
And it's not fair to the other girls
either.
either.
They made a bad fucking decision.
Right.
Period.
But you're right. It's also not fair to the other girls as well.
Yeah, who's it fair to?
It's not fair to any of them. Lia or the other girls.
So then, Hammer, we have to be really careful. You start categorizing everybody. I'm not saying you're suggesting that, but you can't start saying, okay, that entity is this, that entity is that. Well, they feel this way, so they compete over here. You start cutting up that pie, and it's going to be an ugly situation. So there has to be some answers somewhere. I don't have them, but you can't do that. You can't say, well, since you decided that you want longer hair, you're competing over here. Mm-hmm. Because you have 3 inches taller than that, you got to compete in the tall group, which I have had to do in my life, by the way, just saying.
And that decision making I think there should be some inclusion from the athletes to the NCAA. I think that's the way that this needs to be parted out.
Explain that further. How do you see that working?
Well, I think there needs to be, almost like a representative body and a conversation amongst the athletes that then present what they would like their sports to be structured as, amongst like.
You think it should be voted upon
Yeah.
amongst the athletes as opposed
At
to
the
just giving them a
very
whole other
least.
category?
Yeah.
Not a bad
Right.
idea, because like you said before, you take a governing body like the NCAA, and if they go
Well,
a
they
step,
don't care about the athletes. They just make the decisions.
well, I'm saying you go a step above them, and all of a sudden the United States government is making a decision, or,
Right.
or,
No,
or
this
the
is
Olympic
so
Committee.
tricky.
You can't do that.
I think
It
that
is tricky.
It
in the
is
past
tricky.
20 years or so, we probably missed a great opportunity for something like this if the MLB had just given the players the option to get juiced up and have an entire separate league of superhumans that can hit the ball 400 feet out of the park. Or
Yeah,
something.
and guess what, Adam? Their freaking audience would have went freaking skyrocketed.
roof.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm total into juicing.
I don't know.
Well, we did that show, by the way. You check one of our podcasts. We talked about
Yeah,
juicing
we
sports.
did talk about juicing.
Yeah.
I think that there are exceptions to the rule in this scenario. I mean, I think that there are females that are just a little bit more talented and a little stronger than other females. But, I mean,
Like
you
Brandi
know.
Pasante.
Look out, kids.
Watch
Yeah.
out, Brandy's coming.
Yeah. Watch out, guys. No, I'm just, a little meaner mentally.
Little powerhouse.
Yeah.
Don't let her fool
I'm
you.
scary
She's
with my
got the-
eyes.
She's got the tap out talent.
Scary,
Just know
Just
that.
give you one of these.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there are some female athletes that are absolutely phenomenal and can beat the boys in every level. They're just naturally talented and they do work very hard. There's Vicky Golden, for instance. She is a pro motocross rider and she can do backflips, and all of the crazy things on a dirt bike that all of the males can do, and sometimes quite a bit better. I mean, she's broken a lot of barriers. Like you were talking about.
There's an entire host of lady surfers that have cut back stronger than I'm ever going to even aspire to, and dropping on waves bigger than I'll even look at.
And we're talking about exceptions to the rule, which
And
is,
you're also
Yeah.
talking about singular sports.
Right.
but it's a cross sport.
But not necessarily just. But you were talking about Jackie.
Jackie Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's
yeah.
go. Let's go to Danica Patrick. She was awesome. The guys were always trying to put her into the wall, and she wasn't having it. She was a badass chick, and said, "Hey, I'm
man.
making it happen."
You're
Right?
barking up a tree you can't.
Yeah, I'm saying, man.
I know a little more
Hey,
about that than
Danica,
you
love
do.
you, girl. All right.
She is adorable and a little powerhouse.
Yeah,
and
she's
she
a tough chick.
she was exceptional. I mean,
Well-
you talk about Brittany Force. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
there are girls that race and they're
But we're not
incredible.
talking about
but they
that.
gave them a really fucking hard time all the way through. Anytime she crashed, that's all they could talk about.
That's
It
it.
had
That's
nothing to do with the fact that she
It
was
was on her,
talented
on
enough
her,
to
on
be
her.
out there with
Wasn't
all of
the
them.
boys crashing her?
Yeah,
it was that.
it's always going to be
But
that
that's-
narrative. I feel
guys,
like.
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
Oh, sorry,
about
we squirreled.
what we're talking about. Listen, put your nut into the bag. Let's go. We're talking about.
Put your nuts in the bag. What the
Oh,
hell
is this
that
another
mean?
educational
Is this what
moment
we
here that we
doing?
got to do?
Get out of my bag.
The more you know. Ding.
This is about having men participate in women's sports, okay? And
Or vice
Right.
versa.
And
Yes, or vice versa.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's not fair either way.
Men
okay?
physically, but not men emotionally,
Lia
or
wants to do what she wants to do, and the girls want to do what they want to do, and it's just not fair to put them together. We have to have another solution. These morons at the NCAA have to go, hey, let's have another category. Let's do something that works for everybody.
I don't know that you should call them morons. I think that
They are.
honestly, I know that they maybe.
Hands are tied.
I
kind
think
of.
they were trying to be all inclusive and not necessarily. I think that. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here and hope that they were actually
you're
trying to do a
Switzerland over
good
there. I
thing
get
by
it.
by being all inclusive as opposed to saying you're a man, you can't be in this sport.
No, totally. And
You
this
know-
is still an individual sport we're using as an example here. Correct. This is still swimming, and there's such a variation of talent. And that's why I think
Well, swimming is a team sport.
not when you're the one in the water swimming.
But
laps,
it's
right.
when I say it's a team sport, it's an NCAA collegiate deal.
Gotcha. Right. And for I think the purpose of this discussion and the effort that each individual athletes are judged on and the way that becomes their cumulative score for the team.
You should be a politician, kid.
He will be.
fucking up.
Believe me, he
You're
will
in the
be.
wrong.
Yeah, but you gotta have background checks.
He'll
for
be
that.
the most. I smoked the most weed politician.
Man, if anybody
Just give me my
curveballed
board
around
of
a
one survey.
subject
Give me a
more,
joint.
I would
I'm
be
good.
so
That's my
impressed.
cousin Adam. That's what he's going to
Wow.
I think that the athletes need to be at the forefront telling the NCAA this is how we want it to go and this is what we're comfortable competing in.
I think it's a good idea, Adam. It
Dude,
is.
here's the problem. It'll be the same thing at Fast Time as Ridgemont High when I ordered the pizza in the class and he's going.
And Mr. Hand got pissed.
I mean, it's
Well,
the same shit.
I kind of take a broader look at this topic, and you think about humans and how we've grown and segregation from the way back, and of course there still is some.
What, from the apes? What the hell are you talking about?
No,
Humans
no.
is how we've grown.
No, I'm just talking about. I think this topic was never around in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, right? It wasn't a thing.
Well, obviously. I mean,
But there was segregation. There was like keeping
on
people
every
apart from
level.
each other, and you can't do this with those people. You got to go to school there, but you can't go to school here.
we have made leaps and strides.
Well, now we've got this, right? So now we're having
Not
to
according
deal
to
with
some
the
people.
same
Some
kind.
people like to have segregation all over
Well,
again.
we're trying to deal with the same kind of idea, and we're having to grapple with it like we did that. Different topic, and not different topic. It's kind of the same idea, right?
The
Like you
core-
want boys and girls to play with
It's
each other.
it's
Right,
important to have an
right.
open forum and have conversations about things that we don't necessarily understand. I think that hatred is ignorance on any level because you haven't opened your mind to the fact
there's
that this
hatred
is-
involved in this.
But you have to think of every factor, and that's why
Why is there
This is-
hatred involved in this?
People screaming at that gal in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hatred.
That is. Leah is
it's not necessarily
not,
hatred; it's ignorance
Yeah,
because
it's,
they don't
that's what I'm
understand.
thinking.
You don't.
Yeah,
You just
that's
simply
what I'm
don't
thinking.
understand.
It's-
Right.
Listen, Leah, I saw a thing that she had on the press the other day, and she said, hey, "Listen, I'm not bothered with that. I'm just trying to focus on my swimming." And then they fucking hated her for that. So nothing that she can do is going to work for some people, and it's unfortunate. A lot of people are getting hurt here, and it's not cool. Leah they said that she could do this, and she's doing it. The NCAA didn't care about the girls. But what's really important is we're letting these governing bodies just destroy our children. And that's what they're doing. They're not doing a good job controlling the process.
Well, and these children you're talking about are adults. They can be a part of this conversation and make these decisions for themselves.
I mean, I think that people like Leah, non-binary or something, they were dealt kind of the worst hand. They have been given an obstacle at every turn. They are born one way and
Right,
and
absolutely.
pigeonholed into that, but they feel a different way, and they just want to be included in what they feel is their category.
I
think that the NCAA was just trying to make it right, but fucked up on some other level.
The application of it. Yeah.
But more
Yeah.
important than that, I just want to say something from the bottom of my heart. Adam, you're still a child.
At 11:30 on a Saturday night, absolutely, sir.
Absolutely.
No, and Hammer, this is a social issue. This is bigger than us being
This
able to
is
say, well, it needs to
so
be this
much
way.
bigger. We could
Yeah.
talk about
It's-
this
it's
all day and
enormous.
not come to
Yeah.
a resolve.
It's a very difficult question. We haven't had to deal with it in the past per se. It's now it's in front of us, and how do we do it? By committee is not a bad idea, but there's always going to be people saying, well, that's stupid. That's
I'm going to
wrong.
say at the
that
end of
didn't
the
work,
day, my thinking is, and I'm old school. Adam, you're going to have another opinion. I'm saying let the girls play with the girls, let the boys play with the boys, and then let's have another category for people that are
Non-binary.
whatever they are. I mean,
I don't
so
think that
everybody's
makes you
happy.
old school. And what the fuck does old school mean? It just means like
means it's old.
stuck in your ways. I know well, obviously. I mean,
Look
but
at you.
Old school means I'm sexy as hell. I mean, what the hell are you talking about?
In the old school realm, can I still order a pizza at a class in high school?
Yeah,
like
you
Fast Times
can,
at
yeah.
Ridgemont High?
Hey, I
'Cause I'm
did.
into
By the
that
way, I
also.
did it too.
all right, Bonzo,
I
calm
did it.
down. Calm
Just
down.
saying. Hey, Brandi, when's the last time you ordered a pizza in your high school?
Well,
Yeah.
She probably ordered ribs and brisket.
I don't
She's
appreciate your
Texas.
tone.
Hey, at the end of the day, guys, let me tell you something. The LBGT community, we love you. Lia, we love you. It's not your fault, and I really hate what you're going through, and I support you, and I will tell you that hopefully they can work this whole thing out. And hey, just give nothing but love, people. We love all of you. We'll see you next time. Peace out.